Music and sound comes in waves. How many of you know that? It's ups and downs and waves, right? And it's about the sound. And when we begin to sing, and when we release a fresh expression to the Lord, whether it's a song in the Spirit, whether it is the ooh, ho, ah, whatever it is, those sounds, when we begin to do that, it moves the molecules in the air with sound. Did you hear what I said? Molecules. What's the earth made of? Molecules, right? God created it, it's made of molecules. Well, guess what? There's purpose for that. And when God spoke, there were no molecules. Those molecules burst into being. And things were created that he said to be created. Well, those molecules are connected to the intent that's being released. And in the case of worship, that's sound. When we bring that sound, the molecules carry our intent to worship him. They carry our intent to bring his glory. They recognize the purpose. Through our prayer, through our praise, through our proclamations, when you feel like you're just supposed to speak something out, for instance, all of this unrest going on in the country, if you were worshiping and you felt you were supposed to declare something, you can declare it while worship is going on. It's okay. And when you do that, you're releasing a sound that changes the molecules, that changes things. It creates an intensity. Studies show that Dr. Emoto, you can look him up, E-M-O-T-O, he has done some studies on what happens with molecules and speaking into the molecules. In particular, he studied about speaking into the molecules of water and their makeup. And he said that there's a power in the blessing and the cursing. And when you speak blessing over water, it changes. When you speak cursing over water, it changes to a sour. God has had prophets in the Old Testament speak over the water and change it, and it became good water instead of bad water. All matter has memory. This is important. Water, trees, grass, earth, if it has mass, if it has weight, it has memory, and it has that potential for memory. It acts or captures your words. So when you speak things, we've talked about the power of your words. God created the world with words, right? And your words create the world that you're living in. They create the reality around you. We've taught that. Even in worship, though, when we're speaking words, the molecules are changing as we speak those words, as we get into unity. Can you just imagine all the molecules in this place? We come in and it seems like it's stagnant. Nothing's moving, nothing's changing. But we come in and we begin to speak and we begin to worship and we begin to pray, and those molecules begin to move faster and faster because the presence of God is being released through the intent of our worship when we worship on purpose, not when we just come in, right? Okay, and we've determined that matter responds to worship. It doesn't even have to be audible. It can be in your heart. And what does that tell us? In the beginning, something moved, something changed, his glory came. God spoke and the molecules came into being. I think I've already said this stuff. Oh, all right, I won't have you read the last ones, but the rocks will cry out. You were created to worship him, to fellowship with him. If you don't do it, the rocks will cry out. We've heard that scripture. Do you know why? Because they have memory. They know the God who created the rocks. They have memory, so they will cry out and worship him. And then John 4:23 tells us we will worship him in spirit and in truth. That means from our heart, not just with our head, but with our heart. And then the other thing I wanted to leave you with, Psalm 149:3 talks about bending yourself, prostrating yourself before the Lord, bowing before him. You know why? When you bow your head lower than your heart, you're coming in humility to him. And you're saying, you are the mighty King. Now we're going to take some time and we're going to worship. and then we'll release you all. So enter in. Use your hands if you want. Use your feet if you want. Wave them around. Stomp your feet if you feel like it. If you have a word or you feel like you're supposed to pray for someone, come and ask us and we'll let you. Enter in with all of who you are with an intent to worship today.